Welcome to Cinemonika.
We know Studio Ghibli movies are incredible in every single way, from the animation, the storytelling, music-wise, the fact that it appeals to both children, to adults, that magical feeling they have, the fact that there always seem to be about the simple things in life, as well as just complex human emotions. Yes, Ghibli movies to me are pretty much perfect. It's really hard to find a bad Studio Ghibli movie. Nope. We don't talk about that. No. Almost every Ghibli movie is good. Hay como que demasiado aviones hoy. En honor a Ghibli. And sometimes you just want to watch other movies that have that same kind of vibe, that same kind of style, that remind you of a Ghibli movie without actually being a Studio Ghibli movie. Okay, so wait. What's that? Oh wow, what a great montage. What is this? That's a cute necklace. You know what, let's talk about this a little bit. This video is sponsored by Ana Luisa jewelry. I love Ana Luisa so much because they have a little bit of everything. They have really unique and statement pieces, as well as just simple and things that you can wear every single day. For example, this ring. I absolutely love this ring. It's very simple, something that I can wear every single day. I can use it in different fingers. It's adjustable. I also got this absolutely beautiful necklace. I feel like I'm the main character from a book, a fairy tale book. It's this really pretty oval rose in white, and I just feel like I am Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And then of course these earrings, they are pretty much simple hoops, but they are squiggly like the ring, if you want that simple look but still have a little bit of a unique touch to it. I am always happy with everything that I get from Ana Luisa, and the best part is that they don't irritate my skin. I have very sensitive skin. I have eczema on my hands, and I can't wear just any earrings because my ears like peel off, literally, if I wear something that isn't of good quality. I know, my ears are bougie AF. So that's a huge part of why I love them so much. And I think it would make a great gift for anyone that you love, your friends, your family, your crush, your girlfriend, or even just a little gift for yourself. They're currently running their biggest sale of the year, so be sure to check it out. I'm gonna leave the link in the description so you can take advantage of the sale. I love it so much. Okay, let's go back to the video now. Alright, now let's start with a list of movies that have that Ghibli vibe. Alright, let's start with one that is for my criers, the people that just love to suffer. You just want to forget the world, immerse yourself in this movie, and cry your eyes out. I'm talking to those people that love Grave of the Fireflies. You will love this movie. It's called In This Corner of the World. It's an anime movie, and like I said, it reminded me a lot of Grave of the Fireflies. It's about this girl who lives in Hiroshima before and after the atomic bomb hits. It's extremely sad, but extremely real. The way that it's animated is absolutely beautiful. The way that it tells a story through her artistic expression, it took my breath away. It has that slow pacing feel that a Studio Ghibli movie has. And like I said, it's set in rural Japan, which a lot of Ghibli movies are set. War is very present in Studio Ghibli movies, and the fact that we follow the life of this young woman while this is happening around her. It's very sweet, but prepare those tissues. The next one is an absolute classic, a 10/10 of a movie that every single child in this world needs to watch, and every single adult, because it is just a delight. The movie is Matilda. Matilda is forever one of the best children's movies ever to exist, and it was directed by Danny DeVito. He did a great job. Danny DeVito, I love your work. For those of you that haven't seen it, or maybe you watched it a long time ago when you were a kid, Matilda is about this girl who absolutely loves books. She learned to read on her own when she was very little, and she has read basically every book in the library. She is also gifted. She has magical powers. She can basically move things with her mind. Her parents are abusive towards her, so she uses her magic to defend herself, to get revenge towards them. This movie to me has definitely a Kiki's Delivery Service vibe, because it's a little girl who has magical powers, and she's just trying to find her place in a world where people don't really accept kids like her. It also reminded me of Earwig and the Witch. I'm not saying you need to go watch Earwig and the Witch, because just don't watch it. It's not worth it. But it did remind me of it a little bit, but you know, a good version. Matilda definitely has the magical feels of a Studio Ghibli movie. If you haven't watched Matilda since you were a kid, or if you haven't watched it at all, please just go watch it right now. No, after this video. The next one is another live action movie, and it's Pan's Labyrinth from Guillermo del Toro. It's a classic fantasy movie about this girl named Ophelia, and she finds herself in this strange labyrinth where a lot of unique magical creatures appear. Sound familiar? I think Pan's Labyrinth can be easily compared to Spirited Away. If you're looking for a movie with that fantasy feel, that magical realism that Spirited Away has and a lot of other Studio Ghibli movies have, then Pan's Labyrinth is the movie for you. It is pretty much Guillermo del Toro's masterpiece. I think it's a lot darker than a Ghibli movie, including in the cinematography. It's amazing and you will be entertained and filled with just magic. The next one is an anime film, and it's called Mirai of the Future, directed by Mamoru Osoda. I absolutely love his films. He is another great Japanese anime director, and this film actually was nominated for an Academy Award. It's pretty much a coming-of-age movie about this boy who is kind of bratty. He has a baby sister who he doesn't really like, but one day he encounters his sister from the future, all grown up, and she teaches him how not to be a brat. This movie is very sweet, and it reminded me of Studio Ghibli because Ghibli movies are all about character growth. Very rarely the characters start the movie and end the movie being more or less the same. They never start being a perfect person, a perfect kid. They always have a lot of growing to do, and that's exactly what happens in this movie. Mamoru Hosoda actually worked in Studio Ghibli for a while, so it's no wonder why some of his films have that same vibe. I'm gonna talk about another one of his films later on in the video. If you have watched his filmography, can you guess which one I'm gonna say? Don't fast forward the video. Try to guess and then let me know if you guessed. The next movie I'm gonna talk about is Luca by Pixar. Pixar and Studio Ghibli are similar in the way that they convey emotions. I feel like both of these studios are really good at that. They always know how to pull at your heartstrings, and Luca is not the exception. But what does differentiate Pixar and Ghibli is that Pixar is, of course, a lot more action driven. Ghibli is a lot more slow paced and more about just the everyday mundane things in life, whereas Pixar is always a lot more fast paced and action packed, and there's never like a dull moment basically. I feel like Luca was the perfect in between of both Ghibli and Pixar. It was very simple, a very simple premise. It's honestly, I feel like the least ambitious Pixar movie, and that's not a bad thing. It's set in a beautiful town in Italy called Porto Rosso. Yes, they actually got inspired by Porco Rosso for the name of the town, and so you know that the setting is beautiful. It follows this boy who is a fish, or like a sea creature, but he has a dream of going up to the surface and having legs, pretty much like Ariel. It reminded me a lot of Ponyo in the sense that it's in this seaside town. He's a half fish, half human, and he has a newfound best friend, Alberto. They get into a lot of adventures, and it's just very, very sweet. Of course, it does have that Pixar humor, and there's a lot of action towards the end of it, but to me, this was pretty simple for what Pixar is used to doing, and that's why it reminded me of Ghibli. The next movie is the A24 film The Florida Project. This movie is both sweet and dark. It's pretty bittersweet. There's a word for that. It's about this little girl who is living in a motel with her mom. They are struggling to make money, but the girl, she is just blissfully living her life in the motel. Through her eyes, it feels like it's the most magical place in the world. It's very close to Disneyland, and she's just living her life as a little kid with her two friends. But as you watch it, there's always this kind of like sadness underneath it all, which sometimes reminds me of a Ghibli movie, especially My Neighbor Totoro. In Totoro, the girls are blissfully living their life, running through the forest, through their backyard, while their mom is sadly dying in the hospital. The movie itself is not about that. It's not about how the girls are struggling so much because their mom is dying. It's about how they're just living their life while this horrible thing is happening, and how they're still kids and it's hard to process. In the Florida Project, it's kind of similar, where this little girl, she's just living her life as a girl, even though her mom is really struggling. Like I said, it's just pretty bittersweet, but it's a great, great movie. I absolutely love the cinematography. The color palette in it is... The next one is an animated movie called Wolfwalkers. Wolfwalkers is one of the best animated movies I saw last year, and it has the perfect Princess Mononoke vibes. It's about this girl who befriends another girl who is able to turn into a wolf at night. She comes from this tribe of wolves that are the enemy of the people, apparently. But they become friends, and she takes her to this enchanted forest. There's a lot of nature versus men, animals versus men is extremely fun and entertaining. It's just a great movie by itself, but if you want that kind of like enchanted forest and wolves and magic, then this movie is perfect for that. The next one is another Disney movie. It's called Raya and the Last Dragon. I feel like, sadly, this movie didn't have a lot of promotion. I never really saw marketing for it, which is really sad because it's a great movie. Raya and the Last Dragon, of course, reminded me a lot of Spirited Away because of, you know, dragons. The dragon itself reminded me a lot of Haku if Haku were a Disney princess. There is a lot of action in this movie and a lot of humor, which is obviously not very Studio Ghibli-like. Ghibli movies aren't exactly known for their comedy, but there is a lot of magic in this movie. There's a lot of growing from the main character, and if you just want to watch something that will entertain you, has magic, has dragons, has a girl protagonist, but it's not Spirited Away, then Raya is the movie that you need to watch. Okay, it's time for the other Mamoru Osoda movie that I talked about before, and it's Wolf Children. If you guessed right, then congrats. Wolf Children, I have talked about this movie before, and I've said how much it reminded me of a Ghibli movie. This seriously could just be a Studio Ghibli movie. It's about a young mother who has to follow her children who are half wolf, half human. So she moves to a rural part of Japan where she takes care of them, she cooks for them, she lets them run around, and she pretty much just watches them grow into their own person or their own wolf. The kids have a lot of things to decide on their own, and even though it hurts as a mother, it's something that she has to deal with. This movie is very simple, very slow paced, and there's not a lot that happens. It's not very action packed. It has that perfect Studio Ghibli pacing. It is beautiful. The animation is really pretty. Of course, it's in rural Japan, so there's a lot of green. It's very cottagecore. It's really sweet. It's very sad. At the same time, I cried when I watched it, which is, you know, it's just a normal thing for me. I cry a lot. It's just an absolutely beautiful film. All right, the last movie I'm gonna talk about is just perfect Studio Ghibli vibes in live action form, and it's called Little Forest. Little Forest is pretty much the exact same plot as Only Yesterday from Studio Ghibli. It's about this woman who returns to her childhood home in this rural area where even to get groceries she has to bike an hour. She's struggling a lot in her daily life at Seoul, so she returns to her childhood home and she just tries to, you know, take a breath. A lot of the movie is just her farming and making home-cooked meals. Something that I personally love about Studio Ghibli movies is their food shots. Every time a character makes food in a Studio Ghibli movie, it just looks so damn delicious. Like, I've never seen a tomato so juicy. I always want to just eat anything, and the same thing happened to me with this movie. A lot of it is just her cooking, especially food that she used to eat when she was little, when her mom used to make. We see her making all these types of food from scratch. It's just so simple. She's not even talking. It's kind of like ASMR. Honestly, I was so hungry when I watched it. It has the very slow pacing, it's very, very simple, and it's just pretty much her living this mundane life while also struggling with some things on the inside, with some things in her past life in Seoul. It just reminded me a lot of Only Yesterday, which is a great, great Ghibli movie. Alright, those are all of the movies that I have on my list. If you have any other movie that kind of reminded you of a Studio Ghibli movie, please let me know in the comments. I'm always looking for more movies like that. They are totally just my style. I hope you enjoyed this list and happy watching. If you watch any of these movies, let me know. And of course, don't forget to check out Ana Luisa's biggest sale of the year. I'm gonna leave the link in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.